Um, and then Columbia gets upset and she leaves the dinner table. In the remake, she turns around and does that weird scream with like this weird B-rated movie, horror movie scream with that emoted face. It's just weird. At least in the original, when Columbia leaves, she shuts the French sliding doors behind her. And she doesn't scream, she wails. She wails in, what is it? Lament. She, she breaks down. Understandable. Like, you find out that, this guy that you kind of like cut up a guy that you adore and is now feeding him to you. You're gonna break down. Like, so yeah, that all segues into Dr. Scott singing about Eddie. Um, Here's what I really don't like is the fact that they brought Adam Lambert as Eddie back as a ghost, floating in the broken window while they're reading the note that Eddie wrote to his uncle. Like, and just, we really didn't need Adam Lambert to return. Oh my fucking god. Um, and I will say this, that one was more influenced by the stage play than it was the original movie. At least that song was. Um, so yeah, that all wraps up, and Frank reveals that the table that they're eating on is actually Eddie's coffin, which has a clear top, and you can see inside that Eddie's all hacked up. Janet freaks out and runs into the arms of Rocky, which sets off Frank, who chases her back into the laboratory, singing, You'd Better Wise Up. This is the only other time that they changed the, the words, because you can't really say fuck on national television. You just can't. Um, I don't know if in another 100 years fuck will be approved, or, all swearing will be approved and there won't be any, like, people just won't give a fuck anymore. It's like, everybody's already saying it anyways, might as well just let it be on fucking TV. Fuck it. But, probably is not going to happen in my lifetime. But, yeah. So, instead of saying it's something you'll get used to, a little mindfuck can be nice, Frank now has to say it's something you'll get used to, a little mind game can be nice. You gotta make it PG? No, not even PG. TV 14. Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. You can't say fuck on television. You just can't. So, yeah. So we get on to the part where Brad and Janet and Dr. Scott and Columbia and Rocky get turned into statues by the Medusa, whatever the fuck it is. So in the new one, they don't really turn into statues. They don't lose their clothing and become like Michael or, any of the Greek statues where the women have no clothes on and, everything is showing. Because you can't show that on TV either. No, they just like become statuesque. They don't turn to stone. They're just like immobilized. And they're still, lifelike and have all their clothes on. So that happens, and Magenta tells Frank that she grows weary of this world and wants to return to Transylvania. I really like how there was way, way more emotion from Patricia Quinn than there was from Christina Milian when basically demanding to go back to Transylvania. Yeah, that whole scene needed more emotion, but it was delivered so very nonchalant that it's just so stale as a scene. And then we move on to the floor show, Rose Tints My World, Whatever Happened to Fay Ray, Don't Dream It, Be It, what's the other one? Wild Untamed Thing, which apparently they had enough time in between Don't Dream It, Be It and Wild and Untamed Thing to dry off. Instead of making a dramatic, jump out of the pool transition from Don't Dream It, Be It into Wild Untamed Thing, they had enough time to get dry. It just... Really? Everything else is rushed in this movie, but you have enough time to dry off your actors before jumping into another song during the floor show. Backtracking a little bit. Here's a little tip. If you go back and watch Rose Tints My World, Columbia, the first one to be de-medusa'd and reanimated, before the end of her verse, when she turns around, she has a double nip slip. Fucking sexy, right? You can't show tits on TV, so Annalie doesn't get to show off her titties. Oh well. Almost done with this. Okay. So we move on to Magenta and Riff Raff bursting in, saying that they're going to return to Transylvania. And Laverne Cox gives absolutely no emotion whatsoever other than, I fucking dare you. Just like, I'm the fucking boss. You ain't shit. But we still go into I'm going home, where she says, wait, I can explain. No. 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 Like, they just burst in and said that they're going back to Transylvania. Tim Curry showed real emotion, real shock, real surprise. Laverne gave us just, wait, I can explain. The fuck was that? She doesn't start showing any concern until they say that, you know, I only meant me and Magenta are going back. You're staying here in spirit, anyways. And it's revealed that they have a laser cannon. Like, Frank already knew that was a laser cannon. He knew as soon as they burst through the door, he was holding a laser cannon. He should have been threatened. He wasn't. Thanks, Laverne Cox. Next time, just stay on Orange is the New Black. Then I won't see you ever. Won't even know you exist. My sister had to tell me who Laverne Cox was. It's like, that's what got me to have hope for this remake. If it weren't for my sister, I would have gone into this still believing that it was going to be complete and total shit. And I wouldn't have been disappointed. I would have been like, saw this shit coming. So let's get this shit completely over with. Columbia screams and she gets shot and dies. Frank gets shot once and dies. For some reason, Rocky finally has feelings for Frank and becomes upset by his death. And it still takes like 3 or 4 hits with the laser cannon before he dies. And Reeve Carney couldn't give us, the right response to being in charge and everything. He only really blows up once whenever he gets annoyed that Brad, Janet, and Dr. Scott aren't getting out of the castle fast enough after telling them that they're about to beam the entire castle back to their home planet. There's something that, I forgot to bring up about how Rocky was portrayed in both the movies. I like that Stasner portrayed Rocky as more of like this newborn baby type in his movements and everything. Like, he portrayed Rocky how you really expect a Frankenstein type monster to behave. Especially one that carries the Charles Atlas seal of approval, being just this muscular, Adonis figure. Absolutely no fucking brains, just a body, and a newborn, muscled up body at that. Yeah. That's really... Stas nailed it with Rocky. Good job. This thing is running as long as the fucking movies did. Okay, so Magenta and Riff Raff are beaming the castle back to the planet Transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania. So we get the end song, Superheroes. If you've never had the DVD, you probably won't recognize Superheroes. If you've only had the American version of the VHS, it was cut from the US version. I don't understand why. Um, Here's the thing about superheroes. It's in the original. It has Brad, Janet, and Dr. Scott in the midst of the rubble left behind from the castle being beamed back up to transsexual. Um, and it's really about them, you know, trying to. Um, well, let me describe it better through the stage uh, reaction. Um, it's more of a song about uh, we survived together type thing. Like, yeah, we both did stuff that I don't blame you for hating me type thing after what I've done to you, but we both went through the same shit together and we're left here. And it's just them trying to like reconnect to each other. That was not carried out between Ryan and Victoria. It just wasn't. And then we get the last line from the criminologist, the narrator of the whole story. And it bothered me why Tim Curry was singing the last line, because Charles Gray did not sing the last line of Superheroes. It was just, and crawling on the planet's space, some insects called the human race, lost in time and lost in space and in meaning. So it confused me to hear Tim Curry singing that last line before the credits rolled. That's when I decided to watch the stage play. And then it made sense. Richard O'Brien played one of the narrators, and he's the creator of the Rocky Horror Show, so he is Mr. Reference. He sang that last part, and I got chills. Tim Curry was doing an homage to the creator. And then we get the last part of science fiction double feature while the credits roll. I honestly want to say that Ivy's lips are right next to Patricia Quinn's, but don't quote me on that because I still don't know if that's right. Like I said, I should have done way more research than I did, but honestly, I didn't expect to do a review or a comparison that ran just as long as the fucking movies themselves. So if you have stuck with me this long, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so sorry. Next time I do one of these comparisons, I'm just gonna, like, I'm probably just gonna do like I do with my reviews, like, oh hey, they remade a fucking movie. Holy shit, this sucks. The same way I did with It and when I talked about my initial thoughts from the trailer of Jumanji. So, yeah, I'll just do that instead. I just wanted to try this out. But if you really like these long fucking videos, let me know. Maybe next time I do a comparison, I'll do it scene by scene like I did this time, and maybe it won't be as long. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. But there you have it. Original 1975 Rocky Horror Picture Show. 5 out of 5. You know what? 6 out of 5. I fucking love Rocky. I am a fan of RHS. I really am. And just let me hear that they're doing a Rocky Horror Night at any theater in San Antonio. Speaking of, it is fucking cold. Like, I just tried to go to work today and I had to fight with Nightmare about going. I was like, should I even go? Should I even? And he's like, yes, baby, go. Go to work. And like, I get there an hour later than I usually do. And yeah, like every job was canceled except for the one job I cannot and absolutely, I completely cannot go out to. Like, there's two different locations from the same company, and I can't go to the one here. I have to go to the one out in Pearsall, which I prefer the one out in Pearsall because at least they're fucking nice to me. They're not complete and total dicks like they are here in San Antonio. Like, you wanted temps. Don't expect us to be veterans at the fucking job, especially when we're as interchangeable as batteries. Where was I going? So yeah, I came back home. Luckily, I've got soup for days that I made myself. So reheated some soup to like warm me up, and that's another reason why we're filming. Well, I'm filming in my bedroom instead of out in my living room because this is the only place where I have a heater. Like, the heater, the central heat in my apartment doesn't work. I gotta get that fixed. But yeah, I just have one itty bitty space heater and it's in my room, so that's why we're here instead of out there with a nice little backdrop or posters to look at. So yeah. I feel like I was going somewhere else. Oh yeah. If I find out that they're doing a Rocky Horror Night at any theater, I so want to go. And I will so dress up as Columbia. And I will so fake tap dance. Because I really don't know how to tap dance. But I'll fake it. I really will. But yeah, if you know if they're ever doing like a stage performance or if they're doing like they're playing the original movie where you get to yell at the screen and shit and you get to reenact your favorite scenes, let me know. I'm so down for that. It's one thing I haven't done and it's one thing that I've always wanted to do. So if that ever happens, let me know. I'm not going to keep you anymore. Go on, find other things to do. Check out Rocky Horror Show 2015 because there's some interviews and stuff in there that will really make you think about humanity and will, like, yeah. it's sponsored by Amnesty, which is an organization all about, you know, free to love whoever. Um, yeah, just, basically trying to end world discrimination of LGBTQ communities. Um, but yeah, check that out. Um, the stage play is incredible. Um, yeah, you should really check it out. The 2015 version, um, there's like several different narrators, including Anthony Stewart Head, uh, Richard O'Brien, the man who created Rocky for us to all enjoy throughout the years. Um, Baby Spice, that was interesting. There's a couple of others, like I recognize their faces, but I just don't know their names. And I wasn't gonna like do full on research of the stage play when I'm only reviewing the movies. But yeah, definitely check it out on YouTube right after this video. Um, stay warm, um, stay safe, and until next time, peace.